Right, welcome ladies and gents. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. There's a brand new rumour, and it actually claims that they are reducing Phoebe Waller-Bridge's role significantly. Now this is what we would like to call damage control, responding I guess and heading down a different path. Disney, Lucasfilm, Marvel, they're no stranger to doing this. They like to change things at last minute. It's actually why a lot of companies don't like working with them anymore, because they don't lock anything in. Now, one could say that that's good business, but obviously, you only have to look at the product which is being released to indicate that that's definitely not good business, and also the quality of the product being released. It doesn't benefit the film in any way when you're making last-minute changes. The quality of the CGI has been going rapidly downhill, and this is interesting for a few reasons, because Indiana Jones, once they'd already wrapped photography, they actually hired a bunch of people back on to already do reshoots, and that was a while ago. And then we heard more rumours. Well, not even necessarily rumours. I mean, Mr. Williams came out and was like, "Oh yeah, we're the guy who scores it all was like, oh yeah, they're going back to do some reshoots." And that was obviously debunked by James Mangold, tried to anyway. So this is interesting for a few reasons, because it seems that this is the film with multiple cuts, the never-ending cut. That's, an interesting name we could call this film. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny's never-ending cuts. But anyway, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was seemingly pegged as Hollywood's next big thing, without taking into account the fact that she is wholly unlikable. She's not a particularly good actor, and she's just not very likable. She might be really likable at schmoozing, and Hollywood executives obviously like her, right? She obviously has good talent agents, and Hollywood executives like her. Casting agents like her. But the public doesn't, and Hollywood needs to remember that. It's the public that pays the bills. So when you're trying to push someone as the next big thing, respond to the public. But this, again, if this is anything to be believed, this could be the case that they are actually responding to the public. There's a new rumour concerning Lucasfilm's upcoming Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny film, claiming actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge, her role in the film is being significantly reduced. So this is an article over on Bounding Into Comics. Now, take this with a pinch of salt, because of course it comes from Overlord DVD. And whenever I report on anything that this chap puts out, loads of people obviously jump in and go, "Oh, he was right about, the rise of Skywalker." He was reading the same leaks everyone else was over on Reddit by Jedi Paxis. That's important to state. So now he says, it seems everything is shifting on Indy 5, and you're going to laugh your ass off when you hear this, folks, because it not only looks like Phoebe Waller-Bridge has lost her new hat, it looks like Phoebe Waller-Bridge is being cut out of the movie as much as possible. Now, it really is important, actually, to state that, I know someone that worked on this film, and they were like, "No, she doesn't wear the hat. She doesn't do anything like that anyway." And I said this a long time ago, because obviously this individual knows the ending of the movie. They worked in a pretty key role on this film, where they would be privy to those things. So she allegedly she never wore the hat in the first place, but being cut as much as possible, that'll be interesting. And the reason why I say that is because if she is being cut, right, if she is being cut as much as possible, then that, ladies and gents, will probably be patently obvious in the film's end result. It is obvious when edits happen without much thought, without much pre-planning and story writing. And I know I'll cop some flack for saying this, but that's actually really obviously apparent actually in Avatar 2, where everyone's going into battle at the end, the entire tribe is there, and because of James Cameron's approach to filming these films, i.e. film everything and then sort it out in the edit bay, because Avatar 3 has a 9-hour cut, right? A 9-hour cut. You have to cut significant amount of things from the film to trim it down, because you haven't written a complete film to begin with. And so you end up with really dumb plot holes, like everyone just disappearing in the final act of Avatar 2. And so this is that's just an example of how it would be patently obvious if she is cut from this movie. There'll be weird edit points, weird jumps. Contextually, things just won't really be there. I mean, it was even apparent in Megan. Something happened in Megan, like a really brutal kill, and it's kind of referenced, but it's kind of not. And then we don't see it, we don't know it. So that you end up with this really bizarre edit. So anyway, he continues and says, from what I've heard, and again, I'm stressing this is just a rumour, this is a highly fluid situation, as you might imagine. Disney's come to realise that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is problematic in the park. Lines that were meant to be funny and endearing in a sassy Princess Leia kind of way are delivered with Fleabag's patented snarkiness. She's abrasive, she's insulting to Indy, and she just weighs down the movie. Now I can believe all of that, of course, because that's who she is. But the bottom line is, folks, in addition to a new ending, they are radically re-editing the film. Sources say to introduce a new element in the story. Phoebe Waller-Bridge gets kidnapped and vanishes for a large part of the film. She has to be saved by Indy. Which, again, you know, I can believe all of this stuff, but we have to take it with a pinch of salt due to the source. So anyway, he continues and says, I don't know if they previously had her get kidnapped and they're just moving that part to earlier in the film, or if they're trying to do a quick reshoot to cover this. I don't have any more information on that, though I hope to have more to confirm or deny this rumour in the coming weeks. But I have been told, aside from this, that they're cutting as much of Phoebe's stuff as they can to minimise her impact on the film and lighten the movie up, basically. Which, you know, Indiana Jones movies have always been pretty light-hearted, so if they don't do that, then, I mean, what are you doing? Anyway, and he concluded by saying, this is not going to save the movie, folks, but it is interesting that it appears at this point, I cautiously say, that Kathleen Kennedy is not going to get her way. Indy is not going to be replaced at the end of the movie, which, again, I said from the off, apparently that was never the case, but who knows? You know, although his death is still in question. So who knows? Who knows? But the alleged changes to Phoebe Waller-Bridge's role in the film reportedly come after Disney CEO Bob Iger screened it. So apparently, this is what was stated anyway. As you know, Bob Iger has returned to the scene of the crime to head up Disney, where he's been putting out fires, but he started them in the first place. So everyone saying, well, he's going to do all of this doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Allegedly, over the holidays, he finally got to sit down and watch Indy 5. According to someone in the know, Bob allegedly watched the entire thing and never said a word. After the movie was done, he allegedly called Kathleen Kennedy and asked her, was she really responsible for what he witnessed? Allegedly, after a few moments, Iger said to Kennedy, well, I'll give you two choices. Either you fix this, or you can foot the bill, because I won't allow this to be shown. Now, that is unlikely, because who would know that? You know, who would know that that was the case? Like, how would you even know that? You know, how were you there in the room to know that that was the conversation? And this seems to be the rumours that come out quite often from a DVD anyway, is because, of course, you know, I mean, he had this he had the rumour floating around. He started the rumour that Robert Pattinson banged Zoe Kravitz on the Batmobile and she was pregnant and all this nonsense. Oh god, it's too far. I can't even say it with a straight face. Fuck me. So anyway, whatever. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen from here? This is kind of one of those things that you just look at and you go, okay, well, you know, what's the situation? Who knows? But if this is the case, then, you know, great. If not, then, you know, this film's not going to be particularly great anyway. There's lots of anticipation for it, but I think people seem to forget of the last film that came out. And I'm all about looking at things with, you know, trying to be as positive as possible. But I don't, and you know, I know people that have worked on this and they said it's great, but I just don't necessarily see it. So let me know what you guys think down below. Cheers, guys. Take care.